Hey, how are you? How you doing? So I want to talk today about something that's been very helpful in my recovery, and that is Dr. Sarno's 12 daily reminders. So Dr. Sarno has come up with a list of 12 daily reminders that he suggests repeating every day just to remind yourself as to what's going on exactly with you, and to sort of orient yourself and sort of head in the right direction every day. So I'm going to go through them, I'm going to review them, and I'm going to comment on them because I found that these reminders come from his book Healing Back Pain, his second book, and it sounds pretty specific to one, pain, and two, back pain, although in the book he does discuss other symptoms, TMS equivalents, and other forms of pain. Still, when the 12 daily reminders are so focused on a specific symptom, a specific issue of back pain, it could be helpful to just expand your view of these 12 daily reminders a little bit. And that's what I've done for myself, and I sort of want to comment on the 12 daily reminders so that you can see how I've done it, and maybe you can do it your own way. So let's jump into them. A couple of things that I want to say on that. Dr. Sarno recommends that you don't make it like a ritual. So it's not like a superstition. Oh, if I say these 12 daily reminders, then I'll be okay. But if I don't say them, I'm going to be in trouble. No, this is meant more as just a reminder of all the education that you went through, and to reinforce the message and the conviction that you have about your condition, and that it's the result of repressed emotions and so on, and how to deal with it. Also, if I sound stuffy, it's because I'm getting over a cold. No big deal. Don't pay any attention to that. Okay. The second thing is, I like to listen to these daily reminders. I actually have an audiobook of Healing Back Pain where Dr. Sarno reads the whole book. It's actually an abridged version. The audiobook is abridged. But he's got the daily reminders in there, the 12 daily reminders, and he reads them in his own voice. And something about hearing his voice just, I think, has a more powerful effect for me personally. But for you, do whatever works best. If you just want to read them, that's fine. If you want to listen to Dr. Sarno, that's fine too. So let's jump in now, starting with the first daily reminder. The pain is due to TMS, not to structural abnormality. So that's the first one. And so first thing that I do in my mind when I hear Dr. Sarno say it is I expand the word pain to include all my symptoms, and specifically fatigue, because that's a big one for me and for many people with CFS. But also all these other weird little symptoms. The word pain for me means all of those things together. And in particular, I remember when I came across this work for the first time, I was concerned about, okay, he's talking about pain, but what about fatigue? Fatigue is such a big part of it for me. Is that somehow also part of it? Yes, absolutely, it is part of it. It plays the same exact role as the pain, and just it's interchangeable. Pain, fatigue, they serve the same function, and so it's basically the same thing. So the pain is due to TMS, not to a structural abnormality. So a lot of people with back pain attribute their back pain to some herniated disc or something, or osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, whatever, something they can see on the MRI, and their doctor told them, oh, this is the cause of your pain. It's not true. Dr. Sarno goes into a lot of detail about it. But if you don't have back pain, you have other things going on. Like, for example, you want to make sure you're not attributing your symptoms to the wrong cause. So, for example, with chronic fatigue syndrome, for me, a big one was I had read this study back when I used to do such silly things that talked about that in people with CFS, when they exert themselves, when they do physical activity, on day one, they had this group that it's kind of a famous study in CFS circles, people who really follow this stuff. The first time they did some exercise on the bike, they felt they took some measurements in the blood and they were sort of abnormal, but the second time it was really abnormal. And so there's this whole conclusion, oh, it seems that people with CFS have this dysfunction. No, the brain is controlling all that. It is, if you sort of buy into that, it's just going to keep happening. And it's tricky and it sucks, but there's nothing irreversibly damaged about your cellular metabolism or about your body structures or anything like that. We've got to get that out of our minds. It's just false, but it has such a strong pull. You know, I remember being that study, that one study that I just mentioned, and that view that there's something wrong with my cellular metabolism, you know, just or there's some neurological abnormality that's irreversible, that's just something is broken. That really sort of had a huge pull for me, you know, and I just couldn't get over it for a long time. Now I don't think about it hardly ever, but the first few months it was really like, anytime I would think about exerting myself physically, I'd be worried about that study, you know, oh, but what about that study? And so that's part of something we have to get over, the fear and the entrenched beliefs that we have having to do with these kinds of things. And so this is what this reminder helps us do. It helps us deal with these sort of things, remind us that no, we can't buy into that. Yes, there's a study. The study, you know, is pointing at some cellular findings, at some structural findings, but these are not irreversible. These are not the real cause. These are just the mechanism that the brain can employ to cause symptoms. Of course, there's going to be some physical change that's going to be detected, but is that like the result of the brain just wanting to create symptoms, or is it some sort of a cause? I don't think it's a cause. I'm sure it's not a cause. I'm sure it's a result. And when you can shift your thinking in that direction, then you, I think, will make more progress that way. So, you know, I think I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time on each one of these. So I think I'll do one more and I'll save the rest for another video. I think this is going to be like a series, it seems. So let's just go to the next one. The direct reason for the pain is mild oxygen deprivation. So again, the focus is on pain, and Dr. Sarno here gives a specific mechanism that causes, a physical mechanism that causes the pain. And again, it's just a mechanism. It's just a tool that the brain uses. It's just a lever that the brain uses to create symptoms. And in this case, Dr. Sarno is talking about a mild oxygen deprivation. And Dr. Sarno himself says that there could be other mechanisms, and I'm sure there are a number of mechanisms for all the different symptoms that we have, but they're just that, mechanisms, not irreversible damage that has occurred to us. No, these are all just ways that the brain uses the body to create symptoms. All right, let's do one more. TMS is a harmless condition caused by my repressed emotions. Okay, so the first part is TMS is a harmless condition. I really believe that now. I get it. It's harmless. It feels so terrible. It feels like, oh, something must be wrong. This can be good. I'm in danger. But we're not. The danger is actually coming from the threatening emotions that the brain deems necessary to repress. And the way it does it is by distracting our attention, by creating symptoms to distract our attention. And I believe that's the primary cause for our symptoms. There's also, I think, something going on where after a period of time these symptoms become entrenched because these neural pathways sort of get laid down, and it becomes easy for the brain to experience symptoms at the smallest sign of, you know, any kind of emotional thing coming up. All right, I'll end it here. So we've done the first three. There are 9 more. I think I'll do them over the coming week or so. But I'll end this one here, and until next time, just get started listening or reading these reminders every day, and I think it'll help you. I think it'll help you a lot.